Have you ever drawn something so bad it made you question whether drawing is right for you? And I don't mean taking a few days off bad or, I suck today kind of bad, but the type of bad that makes you question your entire existence as an artist. In this video, I'll show you the drawing that made me completely quit for an entire year, what I learned from it, and I'll give you some tips later on in the video so you can avoid the same level of despair that I endured. Hi, I'm Mecha Flying Fish, and I've been drawing for about 5 years now, doing character designs, manga, pixel art, and I'm currently working on my own game. I've learned a lot along the way, and I'd like to share it with you, so let's go on with the video. Now, this happened a long time ago when I first got into drawing. I was just starting, I didn't yet have the ability to really even judge myself. I didn't even think in terms of this drawing's better or this drawing could use some work. I was just drawing, having fun, not really thinking too deeply about what I was doing. I really enjoyed anime and manga, and I would just copy anime heads all day on paper. When I was at work, I would sneakily doodle anime heads during my break on the desk. On the desk? Not on the desk. I would sneakily doodle anime heads in my notebook during my break. But in those breaks, sometimes I would daydream and wonder, could I actually get better at drawing? Could I actually draw something that people liked? Could I make my own manga? I wanted to actually study and grow so I could make my dream a reality. But something dawned on me. I only ever draw heads. Can't just make a manga with a bunch of floating heads. I mean, you probably could, but So, I needed to learn how to draw the body, and after discovering Proko's YouTube channel, I resolved to finally learn anatomy. I went through one video a day. Arm day, leg day, biceps, torso. Not my gym routine, just the videos that Proko had on his channel. I drew 5 hours a day, every day, after getting home from work. And after only 3 months, I felt confident enough to finally tackle a manga. Yeah, I studied bodies for like 3 months, and now I'm Taki going away. I'm Miura level now. I could do it. Shoulder jump, let me in. And little did I know at the time, that was the precursor to one of the worst years of my life regarding my feelings about art. Before I get on to the next part, there's something I want to explain called the Dunning-Kruger effect. You might be familiar with this, but I'll explain it for those of you who don't know. So the Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias where individuals with very low competence in a specific area overestimate their abilities, while those with high competence underestimate their abilities. You've probably met people like this, haven't you? You probably know one of them. Maybe you're one of them? No way, right? So in my case, an artist with very low competence finally gets some noob gains from studying some basic anatomy and way overestimates his ability. And I thought just because I studied some basic anatomy, I'd be number one, my manga would win all the competitions, I'd be the best. I know, you're all waiting for me to get to the drawing. It's coming up soon, I promise. And by the way, I'm not saying it's bad to have dreams or aspirations, as long as it doesn't rise to the level of delusion, and I was very deeply delusional. High off the fumes of the Bakuman manga, I get to work, ready to draw the best manga ever. I'm excited. I'm ready to realize my dreams. I work hard into the night, drafting the best page ever. And after finishing the final drawing for the last panel, I head to bed. I'm getting comfy, I feel good, because I know I gave it my all. Had no idea I made the worst drawing ever. I was going to wake up tomorrow with the same energy, the same passion to finish my manga. So the sun rises, I open my eyes. It's another beautiful day to draw a manga. Step into my office, turn the computer on, and I'm feeling good. Got my cup of tea, turn my tablet on, open up Clip Studio Paint, and what? The drawing I did was amazing, but what is this? And that's when I came face to face with the drawing that made me quit for an entire year. You guys want to see it? Can I get a drum roll for this bit? So how did you feel about it? Would this have made you quit? I am actually curious what you think about this, so leave a comment down below. Seems like a small thing now, but at the time this really damaged me. I went into bed thinking my art looked like this, when in reality it looked like this. I think that would mess anyone up. But that's not the whole story. It's not like I saw it once and decided to give up right away. No, I tried to fix it. And believe it or not, it got even worse. Both times. Yeah, I said both times because I tried to fix it twice. And I'm going to show you both those drawings right after a word from our sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, new drawing coming up in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that hurts. Oh, put on the next one. Oh. So after that last drawing, I was just completely devastated. I got super depressed. I was literally just going to work working all day, coming back home and sleeping, and it was work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep for like an entire year. I would peek into the office that my tablet was in, and I couldn't even go in there because I knew that if I went in there, I'd have to pick up the pen, turn my tablet on. So I ended up avoiding that room for an entire year. I was prone to depression anyway. When I first picked up drawing, it was like a light had turned on inside me, like it was the thing I was meant to do in this world. And it's the only thing that I enjoyed. And that fear of having to face the reality that I wasn't as good as I thought held me back from improving. And in hindsight, it's silly to look back upon now. Like, you know, I have days where I do bad drawings and I feel bad almost every day, but I know improving's a long process. It takes a long time, and as long as I'm making little gains here and there, that's progress, and that's something. That's not the attitude I had at the time though. So if I could go back in time, give myself 3 tips on how to not totally freak out and quit. The first tip would be to know the difference between your hand skill and your eye skill. There's a really good video called How to Break Through Artist Block by Psychra. I'll link it in the description below. But essentially it shows that you have your hand skill, like your ability to actually draw, and your eye skill, so that's the ability to observe and actually see how good or how bad you've done. And sometimes you'll be at a stage where your hand skill has improved a lot, but your eye skill is just not there yet. So you will look at your work and think, oh wow, like, you know, this is really good. And you might stay like that for a time, but eventually your eye skill, your ability to observe, will improve. And at times it will overtake your hand skill. And it's at those points that we often feel at our lowest, like we're drawing a lot and we know it sucks, but it takes time to improve our hand skills. And because at this stage, this is the first time in my life that I actually decided, oh, I want to study art, I want to get better at art and actually improve. I've never experienced this before. I didn't know there was a difference between your eye skill and hand skill. I thought they just, you know, they both get better at the same time, at the same rate, but that's not necessarily always the case. And I feel like watching Psychra's video and understanding that made me feel a lot better. It's just a natural point that you'll get to multiple times through your art journey. So don't feel bad, just take a step back, think critically about what it is that's bothering you, detach and go study. Go work on those things that you recognize now. My second tip would be to just try doing some other things for a while. I know we all have our specific goals, like certain areas of art that we want to improve in. You know, maybe you really want to do character design or environmental art or, you know, something. Maybe pick up something completely different for a while, even if it's not something you particularly like or you have a lot of difficulty with. So for example, I really like designing characters, but at one stage I stopped that for a while because I wanted to try Mecha type art, and I really struggle drawing inorganic things, but I felt that it was my duty as an artist to be able to draw everything to a certain level of proficiency that I can. So even though I was bad at it, even though I didn't like it, I kept pushing at it, and eventually I came to really enjoy it. So if you are working on something and keep hitting roadblocks, or you're just tired, depressed, feel like you can't go any further, try something completely new. If you draw Mecha all the time, try drawing people. If you draw people all the time, try drawing nothing but backgrounds for a while. Not good at clothing or fashion design, try doing something like that. This might run contrary to the first tip that I gave, where you should really like pull back and focus on those areas that you need to improve. But I do feel that focusing on something completely different can sort of like rejig your brain a bit. It'll get you out of that funk that you're in, and you'll still be building art skills. And for my third tip, I'd say just look back at where you started. Take some time to appreciate how far you've actually come, because I went from doing just heads to drawing full bodies after 3 months. And yeah, they weren't amazing bodies by any stretch, but they were better than where I was at. And I feel like especially digital artists don't often look back on their older works. So if you're feeling bad right now, take a few minutes and look back at some older works. Compare them with your more recent works, and take a few minutes to actually feel proud of yourself. Say out loud to yourself that you're doing good. Talking to yourself, especially doing type of positive self-talk out loud, can feel kind of cringe, but I can say after a few days of you trying it, you will feel the difference. You will feel more positive. So today, if you start drawing, just take a minute, smile to yourself, and say out loud that I'm doing good, I'm improving. Thank you for watching this far. Sorry if the second part of the video sounded a bit different. I'm currently sick, but I wanted to finish the video as soon as I could. Please give me a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos, and let me know what you think of the drawing in the comments. Hope you have a good day and happy drawing.